What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today Toasty and I are going to talk about a topic that he doesn't know about yet because I literally just pulled him on Skype and said, hey, let's make a video. Toasty, what do you think we're going to talk about today? It's in the title, Toasty. You should know this.
Obviously, I can read the title before it comes out, huh? Right? Yeah, that's just it. I can see into the future. I'm that so Raven now.
Today, we're talking about Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. Now, Burst Limit 2 is never going to happen, unfortunately. The series just didn't sell that well. At the time, Tenkaichi 3 came out and did amazing numbers on the PS2, and then the follow-up on the first next-gen Dragon Ball Z game at the time was Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit on Xbox 360 and PS3, and the sales, as good as the sales were, if you compare the sales to today's standards, they just didn't compare to Tenkaichi 3, and at the time, it just, I don't know, I guess they decided to not continue the series in the future. Now, the big problem with Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit was the fact that it never got finished. Yes, it never got finished. Toasty, how far did Burst Limit get in terms of story-wise?
And the Cell Saga, just like Budokai 1.
And the Cell Saga. And that was actually one of the reasons why I didn't sell that well, because I remember when it came out, it was
well, technically Broly, but, you know.
Yeah, they had Broly and Bardock in there. But I remember when the game came out, everyone was just like, I don't want to get that. Tenkaichi 3 has 185,000 characters. Burst Limit has like 3. I don't want that. And on top of other reasons, the game just didn't do that well. However, it is one of the most funnest Dragon Ball Z games of all time. If you've never played it, check it out. It's probably like negative 85 cents now if you go to GameStop or for it or whatever. It's a lot of fun, and it's just, if you're a fan of the Budokai series, you definitely like Burst Limit. But I want to kind of talk about Burst Limit 2 for a second, because like I want to know how many people actually here truly enjoyed Burst Limit. Because it's funny, because I was one of the late bloomers for this game. I didn't get it until like 6 months ago, just because again at the time I was more a Tenkaichi fan, so I didn't like the 2D style fighting games, but then I learned to appreciate it later when I played it. Toasty, how do you feel about Burst Limit?
Burst Limit is obviously a really great game. I didn't ever get to play it on the Xbox before. When I had that, I only played on PS3 when I actually grabbed that like in October. And man, the game itself, it's fantastic. It looks fantastic. It's one of the best looking Dragon Ball games to ever come out.
Yeah,
and it came out at the beginning of the first life cycle.
It's funny because it came out in 2008, and to this day, it aged so well. It looks very, very good. It's a lot of fun to play. It's very technical too. And there's just a bunch of elements in the game that just make it kind of like, you know, it has a learning curve, and just overall is a fun game. But like, I really wish that Dimps one day was to revisit Burst Limit. I mean, I feel like they're not going to because of how successful Xenoverse is. They finally got the right formula for what most of the Dragon Ball Z community wants, and I feel like they're going to focus on that. But if you guys didn't know, Dimps, the same people made Xenoverse, made Burst Limit, and I just feel like they're never going to revisit Burst Limit. But I wish they do at least make Burst Limit 2. Or like Burst Limit X, Burst Limit something, some kind of final Burst Limit game that has everything up to the Boo Saga, maybe a couple of movie characters, you know, a couple more features like survival or something. I don't know. I just think it'd be so much fun. And I know you made a video about this before where you talked about if you want a Burst Limit. Do you want to kind of summarize what you said in that video?
I said it would be really cool to see Burst Limit be done, or like a 2D game done on a new console and all that stuff. Although I don't think it's going to happen, just because it seems like most of the fan base itself has either been or just moved towards the 3D games, because that's what's been coming out the last few years, and just that's what it is. But you know, I think also they took it kind of from both Infinite World and Burst Limit, because they came out in the exact same year.
Yeah.
Well, Infinite World on the PS2 and then Burst Limit on the new consoles. I guess they kind of merged those together, trying to think about maybe, since, you know, it was in the middle of that time where PS2 was still dying. It was really dying, but then the new consoles were still starting to shine in a little bit. Kind of what it is now for the PlayStation 4 to the PS3 kind of comparison. Like how PS3 is technically, it's going to be dying, and especially next year after they stop supporting it. And it's like a lot more games are going to be stopped being made for PS3. But, you know, I guess they made both those games. And Infinite World itself didn't do well because it was on the PS2. It did have a whole lot of content, and in my personal opinion, I liked it more than Budokai 3. But sadly, since it was on the PS2, it did not sell well. And then Burst Limit, for it not having a whole lot of content and everything like that, and because it was on the new system, it didn't really sell that incredibly well either. So I guess that could be why, and it's kind of sad though, because, you know, a lot of people do love the 2D style of Dragon Ball games.
It's either you're a fan of 2D style games or 3D, and sometimes they might cross over, but every Dragon Ball Z fan, I feel like I can say this for everybody, I feel like every Dragon Ball Z fan has that one preference, whether you like 3D and 2D. And like I said, myself, I love 3D. 3D DBZ games are my favorite, but I can play Burst Limit, and I can enjoy Burst Limit. And I know a lot of you guys can do the same thing, where you prefer one or the other, but you enjoy one more than the other. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole purpose of this video is to kind of like shine some light on one of the best DBZ games of all time. That's very slept on, and I just kind of want to see what people think, because I know a lot of you guys probably have never got a chance to really play this. I highly recommend if you can. Like I said, it's like $3 now. Maybe GameStop will pay you money to get this game now if you go to the store. Well, not really. Disclaimer.
I'm really surprised that they actually haven't stopped the online for this game since like it's so underplayed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't like stopped supporting the online. They still support it up to this day. That's how Rhyme and I play together. It may or may not freeze, but you know it's still there. It's alive somewhat, kind of. It's on life support. Leave it alone.
And it has great hit detection. Let's just say that.
Yeah. The game does seem to run it like a crisp and nice 15 FPS while you're trying to fight someone in 2D. That is the most frustrating thing, by the way. If you think Xenoverse lag is annoying, you haven't touched burst limit where it actually matters where you hit everybody all the time and everything. You can't just blast someone just trying to get them. No, yeah, it's a lot more frustrating. But yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, I just want to see what the community thinks about this. So if you have any personal thoughts on burst limit or maybe wanting a burst limit game sometime in the future, which is not going to happen. I just know the series is canceled. But for some reason, if you're going to make a decision saying, you know what, I want burst limit 2, what would you want? Let us know in the comment section below. Toasty, do you have anything else to say before I burp? Burp. There, too late.
Yeah. Oh, that was just nasty. No, I don't have anything else to say. Pretty much, hopefully, Burst Limit or some sort of 2D Dragon Ball game can maybe get revived in the future, even if it is in like maybe a mini game on like a marketplace or something like that. Maybe like Hyper DBZ, but like, you know, for consoles and them like kind of remaking it in their own way with HD sprites instead of just like, you know, the kind of old looking sprites. You know, that sort of thing would be really awesome, but I don't see it happening. But it would be pretty cool to have. But yeah, that's really it for the video.
Anyway, so let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I guess we'll just take it from there. So yeah, check out Toasty as well and all the good stuff. He's back finally on YouTube in case you missed it. And we'll see you guys in the comment section below.